Now if I remember, I take the tension off the belts. I do the same thing on my bandsaw. But especially on these sanding belts, because one time on my hand belt sander, I actually had it separate here. And I'd forgotten to take the tension off, and I guess the glue let go and it separated. I suppose the same thing could happen here on these ones, but maybe it was just a fluke, who knows. Anyway, didn't this work great? Yeah. However, this belt eraser will not work on sap or glue that has become embedded and hardened in the belt. Now as for this old 80 grit, and you know, I think it's the original belt that came with that machine. I just kept slipping it back on every time I was going to do something that had a lot of glue in it. But it's shot. Now, as you should remember from video 1, these pieces are fairly thick. Probably 5/8 or maybe a little better. However, when I do my cutting here, or sanding down, or both, I want to make sure that I don't go right down into the cavity where the coins are going to go. I'm just going to make a little mark here. I'll be able to sand that away later. Okay, do the same on the other side. So now I know that I can't go any further in than that line. In fact, probably not even up to that line, because I did do a little sanding here, so it's going to be taken down just a little bit. But I'll only go in about halfway in between the two. I just got to find something now with the proper radius to continue on here. Must have a lid or something somewhere. No, this was the lid I was thinking about when I said that. And I was thinking, I hope I didn't throw that pot out or give it to the thrift store when I did my big house purging here about 6 months ago. Now my plan is I want to continue on from where this circle goes in, then I want to just sort of have a natural radius go down and come out to this corner here. And of course I can't go up to that line because on the other side of this line it's hollow. So I can go up to probably about here. So let's give it a whirl here. See if we can get this adjusted. Put that on the corner and move this in like that. I think that would be okay. It gives me, well, not quite 1/4 of an inch, but I'm sure it's enough. Okay, is there anything there? Oh yeah. I'll just do the same on the other side. Well, I think that's sort of symmetrical. Now, as long as I don't cut inside the line, I'm okay. I actually got a little closer to the line there than I had intended. I wanted to have a little bit more leeway in the sanding. Now during that close-up shot there, you couldn't help but notice that the blade was a little bit sloppy. It should have been more back against the thrust bearing. Somehow it must have got itself out of adjustment and I never noticed. I should have checked before I actually started cutting, but I didn't. I just trusted that everything would be the same as the last time I used that saw. Anyway, I'm going to try and adjust that bandsaw blade so it's just back a little bit more against the thrust bearing. Well, okay, that's somewhat better. Now this table is adjustable, and it's rather imperative that it's square, as with the other sanders. And it is. Another thing I have to take into consideration is I want to make sure that this radius right here is not smaller than the radius of this large drum. This is the largest one. Clearly the last thing I used it for was mahogany. I can see it on there. Now it's very important that I stop sanding as soon as all those bandsaw marks are gone and any other little imperfections that might be there, because if I keep going it's not going to get any smoother. All that's going to happen is I'm going to be taking wood away, and eventually I'm going to be inside the box. As near as I can tell, I've got rid of all the bandsaw marks.